Good morning to one and all. Today we will be doing the psychoanalysis of the 4 Oscar-winning South Korean movie Parasite, directed by Bong Joon-gi. This 2019 film has won numerous awards, including the Golden Globe Award, 4 Academy Awards, and the Palmers. The first thing we can notice is that all the characters have their eyes covered in the poster. We all know that our eyes represent our identity, and in this case, the identity of the characters have been removed. So we need to view of this movie as an allegory. Now an allegory in which the character represents something else. Another interesting thing you can notice that some of them have black coverings, some of them have white coverings. It's the wealthy member have white coverings and the lower class have the black coverings. These coverings represent the prejudices or preconceptions about the characters.
The movie starts with the Kim family living in a semi-basement. They take odd jobs like folding pizza bones to make money. The youngest son named Ki-woo is gifted a scholar rock by a rich friend and given a recommendation for a tutoring job with a wealthy family. Ki-woo and his sister Ki-jung forge certificate for the job and thus being the long icon that sees each member of Kim family infiltrating the upper class family one by one. On the other hand, we see the Parks are a hugely prosperous family living in a vast stone fortress of a home in an exquisite landscape on a uphill. We see that the poor Kim family have a small and dirty house. They are forced to live in an uncivilized entrance with a small window with very little natural light coming in and no privacy, while the Park house is just beautiful with a huge central window and a beautiful open garden. We can analyze that this portray the class divide, the poor life underground and the rich life above ground, with the life of separation between the classes being the ground itself and sunlight. The main character, Ki-jung's sister of Ki-woo, disguises herself as her brother's friend by changing her name to Jessica. She put up an act of art therapist to the park by forgiving a certificate of Illinois State University degree of an art student to treat the park's son, the song.
In the movie, the kid is identified to be schizophrenic, where he experiences a stressful and emotional event which triggered into a psychotic episode. While eating his birthday cake, he sees a man, the housekeeper Cook Moon's husband, who comes every night from the basement, but the kid is not aware of him. Instead, he assumes him as a ghost. Schizophrenia is a critical mental disorder where people perceive the reality abnormally, wherein there will be a sequence of hallucination, delusion, highly disturbed thinking, unsettled and unbalanced behavior that affects a normal life, leading to disabling. Art therapy helps to understand differences in schizophrenic individuals, and art plays a huge role to understand the patient's bizarre world. Therapy can help them to cope up by resolving the distressing conflicts and advance emotional resilience. In the movie, the art student Jessica perceives abnormality in the child by citing the schizophrenia zone in the painting. Then the father Kitek is hired as a chauffeur before his wife Chung Suk replaces the housekeeper. Suddenly, there are two families largely occupying the same home, one rich and one poor. One family gives the orders while the other obeys them, laced with dark comedy and a stunning allegory that the viewers will be thinking for months to come. The parasite in the film is not what the audience expects. The poor Kim family pretends to be unrelated and using fictitious credentials rakes in lots of money. It is an obvious irony that the wealthy family can be seen as parasitic too. Their way of life also depends on the labor of the less fortunate.
The Park family leaves for the weekend to celebrate the birthday of the young son, and seeing this dance, the imposters take over the house, freely feasting upon the upscale goodies that surround them. They are interrupted by a visit from a former housekeeper who persuades them to let her go to the basement for something she has forgotten there. They admit her and let her in the house, and they discover that the old housekeeper's husband is living in the basement and now has gone mentally unstable. The original housekeeper also finds the Kim's family secret and records it on her phone. Both the family fight over the phone, and as a result, both the housekeeper and her husband are left badly injured in the basement. The turning point in the film is the rainstorm and the return of the Parks, which sets the backdrop for the Kim's shocking discovery. This rainstorm is used as a psychological symbol which focuses on a particular aspect, which is the unequal repercussions on the rich and poor. For the Parks, the storm is a minor inconvenience. It means that their camping trip is rained out. But for the Kims, it is a catastrophe that nearly cost the family their home and their belongings. This shows the urban hierarchical class division. The next day, Parks have a birthday party planned for their son, but the party ends up with a huge disaster that changes the whole situation upside down. The original housekeeper's husband sets free from the basement and ends up nearly killing Ki-woo by the scholar stone and stabbing Ki-jung, and then he also ends up dead by Mrs. Park. Mr. Kim stabs Mr. Park and the son ends up having a seizure. After stabbing Mr. Park, Mr. Kim naturally goes down the basement. After a few months, Ki-woo sees the Morse code and figures out that his father is still in the basement. The next scene gives us hopes of a happy ending, by Ki-woo becoming rich and many years later buying that house and reuniting with his father again. But the director hits us with the harsh and cruel reality that it is just the ambition of Ki-woo, and it is impossible for Ki-woo to get so wealthy to buy that house again and reunite with his father.
यूनिवर्सिटी, करियर, शादी, वो सब बात में। सबसे पहले पैसे कमाऊंगा।
आप अंदर आके देखिए ना, बहुत स्पेस है और ये घर भी काफी सुंदर है। प्लीज अंदर आइए। सुनिए सर, देखिए हम हर किसी को ये घर नहीं दिखाते, ये स्पेशल है।
जब पैसे होंगे
जरूर पसंद आएगा।
तो मैं ये घर खरीद लूंगा। एक दिन हम यहाँ शिफ्ट हो जाएंगे। माँ और मैं यार्ड में बैठेंगे, क्योंकि यहाँ धूप बहुत अच्छी आती है। और पापा, आपको बस घर के ऊपरी माले पर आना होगा। तब तक अपना ख्याल रखिएगा। मैं आऊंगा।